It's your boy James Phantoms. We back at it again with another video. Guys, don't defraud the government. Chances are you gonna get caught. And I know we live in the world of social media. A lot of people be posting whatever they doing. It doesn't matter. I knew it was like some scammer. I watched this dude named Tommy on YouTube, and he interviewed scammers from time to time. Some of them didn't even blur their faces. Like, dude, you're gonna get caught if you're really doing that. You're gonna get caught. The Fed not play. They have like a conviction rate of 98%, bruh. And this PPP loan, a lot of people said they made it off scot-free with it. I've heard through a couple people that they got off scot-free. I mean, if they really did that, that's crazy. I just feel like it's only a matter of time. They're going after the big dogs first, and then they're going to trickle down because I feel like the smaller people are easier to get. But with that being said, we're about to get into this video. You know what it is. You know the vibes. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let's go.
And now to what's being called a multi-million-dollar scheme to defraud the feds. A man accused of using money meant for small businesses to buy this mansion in Central Florida.
Dude, you cannot steal. That's the thing. If you gonna steal money, don't spend big. Like, why would you buy a mansion, bro? You're literally putting yourself on the map. There's not a lot of people who out here buying mansions, especially with the interest rate as it is right now. Hey, you never had this money. Why would you do that to yourself? You're already making a paper trail.
Along with other luxury items. He got away with it for a while, but now he's been indicted.
The scheme helped him land millions from the PPP program, and Calvin's in the newsroom with the details.
Well, we've heard the story before. The man is accused of lying about his business, saying it had hundreds of employees with an average monthly payroll of nearly $3 million. But federal investigators say none of that was true.
A federal grand jury has returned this indictment charging Don Cisternino of defrauding the federal government out of $7.2 million in COVID-19 relief funds. According to allegations in the indictments,
bro, you just said you don't think they got somebody who's gonna look into what you told them? Who do you think the United States District Court Middle District of Florida, Orlando Division versus you, bro? The United States of America. You're done. You're cooked. You're cooked. It's over.
Cisternino is accused of lying about his New York-based consulting company to get millions of dollars in payroll protection plan funds. Investigators say during 2019 and 2020, the company had few or no employees other than Cisternino and his girlfriend. According to the indictment, in April 2020, the Bradenton man submitted a fraudulent PPP loan application, including false supporting documents and bank statements. The application says the company has...
And you fake bank statements. That's a whole nother charge. They hit him with a bunch of charges, of course. That's a whole nother charge. That's definitely another level of fraud.
More than 400 employees. Charging documents indicate of the $7.2 million the couple received, more than $3 million of it went to this mansion. Property records show Cisternino and his girlfriend purchased the home in July 2020. The 12-acre estate boasts a British-style pub theater, 7 bedrooms, a tennis court, and a 5-stall horse barn. Investigators say it was paid for with PPP loan money. The grand jury indictment also claims a trail of evidence reveals Cisternino spent thousands of dollars on pricey vehicles like a Maserati.
Like, if they look at the paper trail, man. You're making a paper trail. I'm assuming a draft. Okay, yeah, they made it. You made a digital paper trail. That can't be erased. That can't be erased at all. That's the thing. That can never be erased. Once something goes up in the internet, it's done. It's over. You could delete it. People go to internetarchive.org. I'll put you on game. You put in whatever website, you can see what was at any day, any period in time. Donate to them. They need money too. They doing justice.
Lincoln Navigator, and a Mercedes-Benz, all in a span of months in 2020.
And Cisternino has been indicted on 2 counts of wire fraud, 3 counts of aggravated identity theft, and 3 counts of illegal monetary transaction.
See?
Louis, I'll send it back to you.
You know what they say, karma never forgets an address. All right, thank you, Calvin.
Houston man has pleaded guilty to fraudulently obtaining $1.56 million in PPP loans.
So this is one of many cases of PPP fraud, leaving some business owners who need the money out of luck. Here's our consumer reporter, Heather Sullivan.
A Lamborghini, a Rolex watch, a Ford F-350.
Those are just some of the things that a Houston man bought.
Why do you have to flex so fast when you get it? If you go do something like that, you gotta put it up and don't touch that shit for like a couple years. Keep acting like you never did nothing. But you buy Lamborghinis and 4 F-150s fully trimmed out, all options, and thinking you good. Or maybe you don't, and you just like, I'm gonna enjoy it while it lasts. Either way, it sounds like it sucks, man. Sounds like it sucks.
After fraudulently
Cause you gonna get
obtaining
caught.
a $1.6 million PPP loan, money that was intended to help businesses survive the pandemic.
It looked like you've already gotten a loan, and I said I haven't. They said, well, look like you're on your second round to get a second loan. And I was like, I was like, are you serious?
Sheree Young says she learned someone had taken out $40,000 in PPP loans in her name, preventing her from getting a loan for her wine and marketing businesses.
Ain't that a bitch? Someone else took your information and got a loan. Got a loan in your name before you can get a loan in your name. I'd be like, what the fuck? Well, how?
And charity organizations.
As a person like me that really needed the funds at the time and couldn't get the funds, so I mean, I had to go and like I say, take money from my savings.
The Department of Justice says it has
Well, you
prosecuted
lucky
more
you have
than
a savings,
100 defendants
You lucky you got
in
that.
fraudulent PPP
Not a lot of
loans.
people do.
Lee Price III of Houston just pled guilty to fraudulently obtaining $1.6 million in PPP loans.
He's not even.
Buying a Lamborghini Urus, a Ford F-350, and a Rolex, using the name of someone who died. A University of Texas report suggests 1 in 6 PPP loans is suspicious, but the Small Business Administration says it's much lower.
In the case of PPP, it's less than 0.5% of loans we even suspect were ineligible.
And that the vast majority are helping real businesses.
Here in Houston, we were averaging about 1,300 PPP loans every single day to small businesses, about $85 million every business day during COVID. So there were 350,000 businesses, give or take, that got those loans.
Meantime, Young says she's had to work for months to clean up her credit report.
I've had to write all three credit bureaus and have locks put on my accounts. So every time something happens, I get an email or an alert to my phone letting me know that someone's trying to do something.
The SBA says 33% of PPP loan recipients are still eligible to have those loans forgiven. Plus, there are a number of loans and grants still available to help businesses that are struggling, including the new Harris.
That's crazy. Imagine that you need that money. You got a legitimate business, and you worked hard. You saved up money. You went through regulations. You signed papers. You paid people off. You did all this crap just to get your business up or whatever you believe in. It don't matter. And you're going through a time in your life where, hey, not only do I need help, but the government actually has a program that's really beneficial for me. And somebody robs you, like they impersonate you and that could shut people's businesses down. Going through all them legal regulations, probably had to wait a couple weeks, if not months, before all this got sorted out. And she still is suffering through the repercussions of it. Like, that sucks. That's trash, bro.
I have links to help you apply for all of these at Sullivan Smart Sense on Fox26Houston.com. Heather Sullivan, Fox 26 News.
Well, new here at 11, this Davenport couple is accused of trying to defraud the government out of more than $5 million in COVID relief money. According to court records, the couple spent some of that money gambling at casinos, purchasing designer handbags, and they paid off their 2017 BMW. There's
a common thing among all these people so far. They all spend money so fast. As soon as they get this money, they're spending it. You don't think people are watching that?
As Fox 13's Jordan Bowen reports, this isn't the first time that one of those defendants has been charged with fraud.
For some struggling businesses, COVID relief funds can be a lifeline. But feds say the businesses under 44-year-old Julio Lugo and 37-year-old Rosenide Vinnett not only weren't struggling, but weren't even real. Attorney Anthony Rickman, who isn't associated with the case, says the real victim is the taxpayer.
Businesses are failing. Businesses are struggling. This money was set aside for legitimate businesses. These two defendants, through their conspiracy and through their fraud, submitted multiple applications for businesses that didn't exist.
According to court records, beginning in March of 2020, the couple used their home IP address to submit at least 70 false and fraudulent loan applications.
So they was probably doing a kickback thing where it's like, hey, if I'll sign you up, or I'll make a business with you, I'll sign you up, like, if you want to do this, and you'll cut me, like, X amount of money out of it. So they were probably signing up a bunch of people, and then they were getting a kickback. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what this was. That's what it sounds like to me. Because 70
funds from the Paycheck Protection Program, or PPP. As a result, the couple, along with
one person was finding the people, the other person was submitting that shit. The other person was talking, yapping. The other person was submitting that shit.
Some close family members fraudulently obtained.
Because I think you only had to answer like 3 questions. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was like, do you have a small business? Do you live in the United States of America? Do you promise you're right? And then you had to do some other stuff. But at first, it wasn't too hard.
More than $1.6 million in loan money.
Not only did they just profit from it, but the way and manner in which they did was brazen, was bold.
Some of the most damning
That's what I'm
evidence
saying.
includes
Like,
these video stills taken from a video Lugo uploaded to Facebook. In it, Lugo and Vinnet can be seen in a hotel room littered with $100 bills, several items from Louis Vuitton, and a $5,000 watch. In addition to the video, the couple is accused of spending $47,000 to pay off a 2017 BMW 7 Series sedan, spending $49,000 at casinos, and another $13 grand spent at weight loss centers. All purchases the feds say were made with COVID relief funds. The couple was arrested Thursday. At the time, Lugo was still on supervised probation for a tax fraud case from 2015.
Looking at the amount of...
So they was already on your ass, bro. They were already on your ass. They probably have a database where it's like, hey, if anything new pops up that cross-references with this person, this social security, let us get a notification, let us be aware about it. You stupid.
Of loss, the number of charges, I do anticipate both of these defendants doing a significant amount of time in federal prison.
Reporting in Tampa, Jordan Bowen, Fox 13 News.
The owner of a tax preparation company in Dallas pleaded guilty to defrauding the COVID-19 relief program of millions that was meant to help struggling business owners. What's more, he was already going to prison for 6 years for a previous tax fraud conviction. Fox 4's David Santendry.
Y'all stupid. He don't give a fuck. Not him, but like the person that's a part of this. He don't give a fuck. He obviously don't give a fuck about his life. Because if he did, he already accepted the fact, hey, I'm already going to jail type shit maybe. I'm going to have fun before I go. That it got to be that. You cannot realistically think that you're going to get away with this for the rest of your life. You can't. You just can't. It's stupid. It just sounds stupid.
Yeah, Steve, we're talking about millions of dollars that was supposed to go to small businesses that were struggling, but instead one local accountant tried to help himself.
A 43-year-old Liberian national pleaded guilty Tuesday to orchestrating a fraud scheme to get more than $23 million in money that was supposed to help small businesses struggling during the pandemic, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Northern District of Texas.
Sorry for pausing.
Criminals can be around any corner.
Stephen Jalul, seen here on his Facebook page, is an accountant. The listed address for his business is inside this North Dallas office building. A recent home address is at this apartment complex in Garland, where neighbors say he drove fancy cars and wore high-end clothing. Some we spoke with off camera suspected he was up to something shady. Others
had no idea. I'll tell you what, it takes all kinds of people.
Here's what happened. The federal government rolled out $350 billion in forgivable
That's a lot of
PPP
money,
loans during
man.
the pandemic.
And I feel like that money made the U.S. dollar weaker. Because we printed so much money, bro. 350 billion, man. What? That's more than a quarter of a trillion. Yeah, I can't even imagine what a billion looks like in front of me. Or a million. I can't even imagine that. So like 350 billion in front of me, that sounds crazy. Like that just sounds crazy.
It was meant to help struggling businesses pay and keep employees. The feds, however, say Jalul after his arrest last fall, admitted while working as an accountant to inflating the number of employees businesses had so they could get more money from the government. Federal prosecutors say he tried to get $23 million on behalf of more than 160 clients. 97 of those loans were approved, and his clients were awarded $12 million. He was paid nearly $1 million in fees.
You know, I hope he gets...
So see, it sounds like another kickback. Like, okay, I'm going to get you your money, but you go pay me this amount of money back in return. You know what I'm saying? So you're just creating, like, one of the worst paper trails and one of the worst cases of fraud you could ever do. It's only a matter of time. That's why I think, like, he just accepted the fact that, hey, I'm going to go to jail anyway type shit. So I'm going to have fun before I go. That's the only thing I can think of in this situation. Because he just can't think he would have gotten away with this. You stupid.
It's what he deserves. Because it was a pandemic and you've got folks that are, you know, trying to keep their heads above water.
The thing is, this is not his first run-in with the law. He pleaded guilty to tax crimes in January 2020 and was on pre-trial release when he committed the PPP crimes, according to a criminal complaint.
I would never have known that.
Now he's facing up to 10 years in prison. Some of his neighbors can't help but think of the businesses that actually deserved and needed that money.
Some snake coming along, you know, taking money that could be theirs rightfully.
Jalul is awaiting sentencing, but many people at home might be asking, well, what happens to that $12 million from here?
Right.
So I reached out to the DOJ. They say that it's really up to the Small Business Administration if these businesses need to return any of that money they were awarded. And then I asked the DOJ, do any of these businesses...
Wait,
any
what?
indication...
So they don't have to already, they have to get, what? That's crazy. That's crazy. So you mean, like, I thought that they would have already had to forfeit that money. But it has to go through another group of people to decide if they really want to get that money. So there's probably people who could potentially go to jail for this shit. But as soon as they get out, they got that money.
And they may have known that they were accepting some of this money fraudulently. The DOJ says at this time it can only refer us to its indictment, and right now those details aren't provided.
That's crazy.
Okay.
So does this mean, like, you guys are getting all these people, right? You're getting all these people and you're sending them to jail, so you're making it look like, hey, justice is served. Yeah. Some of these people are going to jail for a couple years. Some of these people are going to jail for like 10 years. But if I knew, hey, when I get out of here, I'm going to have $200 million or I'm going to have $50 million waiting for me. If I do this, I'm going to do, honestly, it's going to suck. It's going to suck. But I would do, this sounds terrible. This sounds terrible. I'm not even going to say exact time, but I would go through it to, if I got out and everything was cool while I was there, I made it. But that's so situational. So I don't know. That's a tough question, especially in the day and age that we're in right now. That's a tough question because that's because to me, I'm thinking about it. I haven't been to jail, so I'm thinking about it like, okay, you gotta be put in a situation you don't want to be in for X amount of time. Well, I'm already been put in situations for X amount of years I didn't want to be in, and I'm still here. So, you know, but would I do it like this? Hell no. Hell no.
List this home as belonging to Amber Colbert, but it's the same home connected to a business that received a high-profile coronavirus relief loan. According to Memphis police, Colbert worked for the police department as a clerk when she forged a...
So you work for the state and you are stupid.
Pay stub to get a loan earlier this year. MPD says she's been relieved of duty pending the outcome of the internal and criminal investigation. But that's not the only loan Colbert has gotten recently. Federal records from the Small Business Administration show a business in Amber Colbert's name also benefited from the Paycheck Protection Program. It shows she got two $17,000 PPP loans for her children's clothing store that she never had to pay back. Her loans are also linked to this home on Keel Avenue in Uptown. We We went there today, but no one answered the door, and we found this sign posted saying the property is vacant. The Department of Justice has cracked down on people nationwide who they say tried to get PPP loans illegally. Just this week, an Oklahoma woman pleaded guilty to trying to get more than $43 million in fraudulent
Why
loans.
do y'all need this much money? Y'all need to be like, just like, if you gonna do something like this, I feel, once again, I never done nothing like this. If you gonna do something like this though, I would think stay low, stay under the radar, get a little bit, then learn how to flip that. Then learn how to flip it. Like, you know what? Oh my God, they buy all this stuff and then they take this big loan out in their name with their dumb ass, and then they buy a bunch of rich motherfucking shit. They gon' find you. You ain't never had that shit. You need to keep acting like you need to keep staying low, working that 9 to 5 for like probably 2-3 more years realistically. 2 to 4 more years realistically. Keep acting like you broke. Stack that, so that if anything happens, you could try and do something. Like, what? This is stupid.
We contacted the Small Business Administration and the Department of Justice to find out if they're investigating Colbert's PPP loan in light of her more recent arrest. Stacey Jacobson, WREG News Channel 3.
I'm Elizabeth Matthews. Here in Joliet, Operation Triple P targeted county jail inmates who falsified PPP loan applications and received thousands of dollars. Some even using that money to bond out of jail. The police chief here says this operation will help put them back in jail and will help reduce gun violence and drug trafficking in his city. 25 Will County Jail inmates already locked up for weapons and drug felony cases are now facing charges like wire fraud and theft.
Some of the targets bonded out on their felony cases days after receiving their fraudulent PPP loan.
Operation Triple P began in November of last year. Detectives
How did motherfuckers, if motherfuckers in jail was able to do this, anybody could have did this. At this point, anybody could have did this. Anybody who wanted to could have did this.
began to compare names on Paycheck Protection Program loans to names of inmates facing felonies, which should have disqualified them from the financial assistance. So far, 15 of them have been charged. Police are still looking for these 10.
The majority of them also use
they out
home
the way.
address.
You ain't gonna find them.
Several periodic spot checks on the residents. It just looked like a residence.
For example,
You're
Maria
not gonna
Beach
find those
and
other
Adrian
people.
Clark
Those
locked up
were
during
the
the
smart
pandemic
people.
for unrelated
Those
gun
are probably
offenses.
the smarter people
From their
of the
cell,
group.
they applied for and
You're not gonna
received
find 'em.
PPP loans. Maria claimed to run a barber shop from this home in Rockdale. Adrian claimed to run a barber shop from an apartment in this Joliet house. Maria received nearly $21,000 in federal loans. Adrian, who has a history with Joliet police, got 2 PPP loans for the same barbershop location, totaling $42,000. Both are now part of the 15 locked up again. Joliet police had help from U.S. Marshals, the Will County State's Attorney's Office, Department of Labor, and Homeland Security.
These triple P loans, that if they're obtaining them fraudulently, they're taking that money out of the businesses in our local area that actually need them.
The acting special agent in charge for Chicago's Homeland Security Office says this type of PPP loan fraud has been happening across the country.
Well, yeah, because you guys make it
tonight after
you guys make it so easy for people to sign up for them. That's why. If it wasn't so easy, people wouldn't be able to do it. If people from jail can do it, like if people from jail can apply for these loans, anybody can. Anybody can. Man, my nephew could probably get approved. They should have been not even in the running for it because they were inmates. So they should not even been able to be qualified, and they still got it. That's the thing. That's the crazy thing. So it's like we're getting so many applications. We just give the money out, and then we'll figure it out later type shit. Like we'll find out the fraudsters later, but it's gonna take years. But they're gonna get them. I feel like they're gonna get them unless something else happens where, hey, we gotta draw our attention to this.
Former Phoenix cop was arrested, accused of stealing COVID relief money. Good evening, I'm Zach Crenshaw.
And I'm Katie Rammel. The ABC 15 investigators found links between her criminal case and 4 others, resulting in millions of dollars of fraudulently obtained federal loans.
Only on ABC 15, investigator Melissa Blasius breaking down the indictments outlining their alleged crimes.
Neighbors said they felt safer knowing a Phoenix cop lived on the block.
Big smile all the time, super friendly neighbor.
But now former officer Tony Richardson is accused of stealing
Why?
from them.
And now that's starting to become another common thing. You're part of the a state or government
of fraudulently obtaining Paycheck Protection Program loans for 83 fictitious employees for a business called the Lotto Club. This is the business's website, but the Lotto Club's office was empty when we went Wednesday night. The ABC 15 investigators uncovered when Richardson was indicted for alleged PPP loan fraud, so were 6 other interconnected people in a total of 5 cases, totaling nearly $7.4 million in loans.
You don't need that much.
That was supposed
if
to
you
help
can't
small
take a
businesses
couple
pay employees,
a couple
open.
tens of thousands,
Instead, prosecutors
or
say
maybe
it
a couple
was
hundred thousand,
funneled into the
and flip
defendant's
that,
bank
then
accounts. Tony
I don't know what to
Richardson
tell
is
you.
indicted in just one case involving the
All
Lotto
I need is a
Club.
couple
Under
thousand,
co-defendant
and
Willie Blue Mitchell, seen here in this prior
I'm
ABC
investing
15
that
story,
in-
was
in
also
stocks
indicted last month in
and
3 more
crypto
PPP
and
loan fraud
other
cases
things.
for businesses
Like, I'm not
Sigma
about to just
Cuts
blow my
School
money.
of Beauty, Sigma Cuts Medical Training Academy, and UCCAN. One of Mitchell's co-defendants in some of these cases is Sean Swaringer. He's indicted with his wife in another PPP loan case for a company called Cryotherapy for Veterans.
Look here, they flipped around the sign. This was cryotherapy for veterans.
Friday, the ABC 15 investigators went to several addresses that were supposed to be tied to these businesses.
It's bone dry.
We found they had cleared out or were locked up and empty.
That's crazy.
Neighbors say they saw law enforcement agents several days ago at this South Phoenix house linked to Willie Blue Mitchell. No one came to the door.
Good. My name is Melissa. I'm with ABC 15.
And when we tried to track down Sean Swaringer and his wife at a different cryotherapy business,
They're unavailable at the moment.
the ABC 15 investigators still trying to find the co-defendants to hear their explanation on the loans and their connections to each other. I'm investigator Melissa Blasius, ABC 15 Arizona.
Deputy appeared before sentencing hearing after pleading guilty to a PPP loan fraud.
He appeared
They know they're
ashamed
wrong.
as he
You
faced
know
the
what I mean?
judge, and Local 10 was there as well as he walked out. Roy Ramos is joining us live. He's in downtown Miami with more on what happened inside that courtroom. Roy.
Christy and Louie, as I sat in the courtroom, I could hear that defendant tell the judge he was embarrassed. Never did he imagine being in the situation that he was in, and he asked that judge to think of him as a father of 4, someone who has served this community for 7 years, and not as a criminal. Hey, Jean-Pierre, is there anything you'd like to say about the sentencing?
No answers to my questions as 35-year-old Jean-Pierre Toussaint walked out of a Miami-Dade federal courthouse with his wife and relatives by his side. This just moments after he was sentenced to 2 years probation in order to pay restitution of more than $20,000.
My client was already paying the
Oh,
restitution
2 years
back. He was already
probation?
paying the loan back.
Dude,
It's
what?
been more than 4 months since Pierre...
Dude, if I heard that right, if you just got to do 2 years probation, if you did some fraud and when you got 20,000 bans, depending on what the probation is, cool. Cool, because it could be way worse, man. It could be way worse.
Pierre Toussaint was just one of 17 Broward Sheriff deputies and detention deputies who were indicted on wire fraud charges after the government said they fraudulently applied for and received funds from the Paycheck Protection Program, or PPP loan. Investigators said the group jointly received more than $500,000 in funds.
He is a very good person who made a mistake.
And it's that mistake now costing them in more ways than one as they are sentenced. 23-year veteran with BSO Derek Nesbitt sentenced to 5 years probation in order to pay a $1,000 fine. Others given a stiffer punishment with a restitution upwards of $30,000. While we learned some of the defendants pled guilty, others have chosen to take their cases to trial, but...
You better learn how to flip that money. If you did that, you better learn how to flip that money by now and have that tucked away somewhere so you could just pay that off. Better not just been spending that money at the club.
all losing the privilege of being officers of the law.
I think that he is just happy and grateful to be able to be with his family and move on from this.
So 4 of the 17 defendants have been sentenced. None of them have been sentenced to prison, despite the maximum punishment for wire fraud being 20 years behind bars. For now, here in downtown Miami, Roy Ramos.
That's what I'm saying.
Local 10 News.
So it's making it look like, hey, we doing something, you know. So at surface level, a lot of people will be like, yeah, they're all getting locked up for years, they're all getting messed up for years. They will, but then some of these people like him, and this isn't the first time either that we heard in this video, or another instance where they did not go to jail. It's kind of crazy. But with that being said, I hope you guys like, comment, subscribe. Don't do no fraud. I don't think it's worth it. I really don't think it's worth it. I think it's cool if you get your own idea, you keep consistent with it, and you build upon it, and you display your talents in some way, shape, or form. I feel like you'll be successful. You'll find your own people who, mess with you. Trust. It happens. You live in America. If you live in America, you can make money any kind of way. With that being said, like, comment, subscribe. Peace.